Hey, I'm Yoad. Welcome to my studio. Today, we're going to mix a song the analog way. So, as you know, I like to keep things simple when I mix, but today we're going to take simplicity to the next level. I'm going to use groups, so I don't have to process each and every channel. I'm going to just process the groups and give them the analog treatment. So we want to get the warmth, the width, and the depth that analog gear usually gives us. But we're going to stay in the box. So this is the song we have. It's been mix prepped. And I have other videos talking about how important it is to prepare the mix so that we can concentrate on the sound and balance and nothing else. I'm setting all the faders to -9 dB, so that will give us some headroom. And let's listen to what we have. We have this whispery stuff which we can bring down. So the balance is kind of in the right neighborhood, which means we can understand the song and there's nothing radical here. The first thing I'm going to do in order to simplify things is to group the different elements and treat the groups. So this group will be my drums, and I'm going to group these two bass parts. I'm going to group the keyboards, and then I'm going to group all the backing vocals. Now, it may well be that I would want to separate the backing vocals into 2 or more groups, but for now, we're going to just group them together. And now let's try to give the whole thing that analog vibe. So for the drums, I'm going to look for a tape plug-in. Now, I really like the Kramer tape on drums because it gives a lot of presence and mid in a way. Now we can try 7.5 inch per second, which makes it even more raw. Let's hear it without. And I'm going to try to push the input and bring the output down to squash the drums even more. Let's hear it at 50 nips. I think that that's better for this track. So already I'm getting more attitude from the drums, and I'm going to do the same with the bass. Now, since we have 2 bass parts playing at the same time, we need to decide which one is actually giving the lows. So I really like the kind of deep low end here, but I feel we need to do something about those lows. So I'm going to use a graphic EQ and try to tackle the 125. And here I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to copy this, but here I'm going to try to emphasize the pulse. What I'll try to do here is to use a compressor in order to compress the group and pack it so we have more definition. And I'm going to use the SSL channel. At the moment, I'm just going to use the compressor. And while I'm here, I can bring that boomy frequency down even more. And I'm going to have the compressor after the EQ. So I'm basically cleaning those low frequencies before hitting the compressor, which will make it easier for the compressor to detect the pulse from that bass. And let's see what we can do to it in order to make it even more punchy. Now I'm going to look at the output and see how much headroom I have. So now I can compress the drums, and I'm going to use this heavy rolled compressor, and I have this preset here where it's based on parallel compression. Now if I use it all the way, there's a lot of compression even though it sounds great. Let's compensate with the output, so we're hearing the compressed signal at the same level as a bypass, and then we can dial it in. I think that this song kind of wants this level of compression. And now I'm trying to get the sound not by processing the individual drum elements, but just looking at the overall picture. What I have here is those room mics, which are kind of mono-ish. So I'm gonna dial them down a bit, and I have this additional loop which gives it the feels which I like, which drive the song. But we don't need the lows here. So I'm going to select a vintage type EQ and use the filter. And while I'm here, I can just boost the mids a bit. And I need more definition on the kick. Let's see if we can just use level to get that. Or do we need to use EQ? But this is quite punchy. If anything, I need some lows. And I can do that on the group. Now I want that after the compression, so I'm not affecting whatever I'm doing now is not going to affect the compressor's detector. The bass trick question with the Pultec lows is always whether to go with 60 or with 100. Here I want the definition, so I'm going to go with 100. And this gives me the 8K or the 5K to brighten the drums as a group, maybe 10K even, just a tiny bit. And now let's process the keys. So since I've used the Kramer tape, I'm going to copy that over to the keys as well, and we can instantly hear this presence that it gives. And here I'm going to use the Pultec mid-range, which has great presence. Maybe it's 1K, and then we can add some 2K without. So this is kind of wide and maybe bigger, but I want the presence. Maybe go up to 3, give it a bit more. This is really prominent. So it's whether we're going for this or for the 700. The 700 is a bit boxy. And again, I can use some compression, and here I don't have to be shy about the compression. I can really go for it. Because I want to get that vintagey attitude. The whole thing is a little bit loud. I'm just gonna bring the compression down. Let's listen to this guitar. Now I want to look at the backing vocals. So again, I'm going to process the group. I'm going to use a de-esser. I think I can bring all the backing vocals up into the group, except this whispery stuff. Let's see how it affects the de-esser. Now, I'm not shy about de-essing the backing vocals because I want the S's and the T's coming from the lead vocal. And let's use the same compressor, and here I want to use it fully wet. Now I'm hearing that these kind of mechanical vocoder sounds, they need their own group. So I'm gonna copy the group settings and reduce the compression. And bring it down. And now we can look at the vocal. So I have the breaths separated to their own track, which is very helpful because it means that they're not gonna get too loud.
I dropped my phone in the smoke in my lungs, petrified.
That works quite well.
Lungs petrified. I used to be.
Now I want it really compressed. And then I can play with the mix. So this is basically parallel compression.
I drop my phone
and I'm gonna give it some top. We don't need anything in the very lows. And here I want to find one frequency which we can emphasize.
But then I open up my eyes. I drop my thoughts on the second floor and cleaning lady cleaned it all and I forgot.
And now we need to find some vintage reverb. So this is the first reverb I have in my template project.
On the second floor and cleaning lady.
And let's try to make it a bit more vintage.
I drop my heart.
Let's try to give it a vintage vibe by boosting the mid going into the reverb. Now what I also can do is get a de-esser before the reverb on the send, so I'm not going to get those sounds that much. I want to keep it more tamed and less explosive. And let's use the same reverb on the lead vocal. A bit less. And we probably need something on the snare. Now the question is which mic to use, because the top snare is very short and it's not going to hit the reverb in a nice way. I can show that. Something like that. So if I send the bottom mic to the reverb, it's going to be nicer, I think. Because it's longer. And let's grab a plate. Something like that. And again, I can use EQ before the reverb to give it that vintagey color. Now what's happening here is that the overheads in the room mics are still dry. I want to include the reverb return in the group, so the compression will apply to it. Yes. So now everything is kind of working together. I want to cheat a little bit and try a darker, because I want to reduce just the snare. Let's take the snare top as our sidechain. Now I just want a tiny bit of that. Just 2 dB. That's it. Makes the snare blend in the group better, even 1 dB I think. Let's go to the end. As you can see, we're at the end of the song. We have really good level. And now it's a matter of balancing, tweaking. We need some automation in the verses. Kick is a little bit too punchy now. maybe I can use the graphic EQ to bring the 250 down a bit because it's a bit boxy. Now, we have to understand that anything I do, especially on the kick because it contains a lot of energy, is going to affect the compression of the group. So, if I mute the kick, the whole thing sounds very different. So, we want to reduce maybe 500 as well. Yes. Now if I want lows, I can do it after the compression on the group. And now I want to tweak the mid-range on the keyboard group. I know what will help. The good old Neve 8068. And I want the 3K here. Or maybe the 4.8. And now I can ease it off on the pull tech and use the Neve and maybe give it some top. Maybe too harsh here. So this is a fine balancing act between the individual channels and the group. Because I like what it does to the group, but this track specifically is too MIDI. And while we're here, let's use the 8068 over the whole mix. Give it a bit of sheen. Some high pass. Maybe use a tape over the whole thing. Now for this, I want a different tape. I want something more subtle. So I want the master tape machine. And maybe we can run it at 15 IPS to get that vintage sound. I think that that's a good starting point, and it needs some tweaking, needs some vocal automation, but it has a vibe, and to me it sounds quite organic. And I wouldn't necessarily say that that is an in-the-box mix, because we treated it with some analog modeling processors mainly, and even when we use a de-esser and a gate, these would be available as outboard devices. So we only use processing that is available in the analog world. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do, and I will see you on the next one.